this Sunday. And as of right now, they have only announced pretty much. There's 4 matches announced for the show. WWE have only announced 4, at least right now. I'm recording this before SmackDown. There could be like 1 or 2 more added. But the funny thing is, only 3 of these 4 matches are Hell in a Cell matches. So today I'm going to answer the question in the title of this video: which challengers should win the championships inside Hell in a Cell? Like I said, there are 3 matches. There's one for the Universal Championship, one for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and one for the WWE Championship, all taking place inside Hell in a Cell. Now, over the last few years, we've seen WWE have really botched what they've done with the Hell in a Cell. They've had no contests or disqualifications take place inside the cell. People have interfered and then the match just ended, or there was referee stoppages like we saw with Seth Rollins and The Fiend. They haven't really had a good track record lately. I hope it doesn't happen on Sunday as well with one of the 3 championship matches, because I think all 3 of them could be really good matches, and I'm looking forward to all 3 of them. I honestly don't think they really need to add any more matches to the card. I think just having, because the other one is Elias versus Jeff Hardy, it's not inside the cell. But I think having just the 3 Hell in a Cell matches might be able to take up most of the show. Just have that, and then the Elias versus Jeff Hardy, and maybe one more match for some tag team titles, and then that could be the card. I don't want them to add a million other matches randomly over Twitter between Friday and Sunday. I hope it sticks to the 3 Hell in a Cell matches. But what I'm going to talk about today is which challengers I think are going to walk away with the championships after their respective Hell in a Cell matches. Because I do think some of them will. I think that there's going to be new stories coming out of this, because we had the draft recently, so there's going to be a lot of new challengers to championships. And I think they need a fresh start on some of the champions, so some of the champions need to lose their titles, I think, and I'm going to give my predictions on who that is going to be today. I'm going to start with the WWE title match between Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. This is the 4th time they're fighting each other, I believe, in the last couple months. Randy Orton's been in a program with Drew McIntyre. He's lost every match so far. The last one was the ambulance match, which he lost because of interference from Shawn Michaels and Christian and Ric Flair. And that hasn't really played into this match we're going into now between them, but I'm actually thinking that Randy Orton is going to win, because I want to see him end up facing Edge for the WWE title at WrestleMania. That would be the culmination. They each have 1 win apiece over each other, so I think that they are going to... I think they should face each other one last time at WrestleMania if Edge is cleared by next April, which he probably will be. He's been out for a couple, or I forget how many months it's been, but I hope he makes a speedy recovery, because I want to see that, and then Edge can win the WWE title. That can be one of the things he does on his final run. I do think Orton should actually win this match here. Now, the question is, coming after this is Survivor Series and TLC, which I don't really care much about TLC. Survivor Series is what it's always going to be. Raw versus SmackDown. There might be some different stuff there, so you really don't have Orton defending the title until TLC, probably. I was kind of hoping to see maybe The Fiend would interfere in this match and cost Randy Orton because of their history with Orton and Bray Wyatt. Because The Fiend usually always targets people that have a bad history with Bray, and Randy is the only other person I think he has left that he hasn't fought yet. But I decided to change my idea and go with Randy Orton. I hope they don't put him in a feud with the 3 versions of Bray Wyatt like they did with Braun Strowman. I kind of don't... If they were going to go this route, I don't want to see The Fiend win the title off of Orton, because then he has to lose it again, and that takes away from the mystique of The Fiend. He's not supposed to lose matches. That's why it was kind of a problem. As much as I like seeing him as champion, it's also kind of a problem that they keep putting the title on him, because then he has to lose. At least the last one was a triple threat match, so it made sense. But I don't want to see Fiend lose to Randy Orton either. So I think keeping Randy Orton, giving Orton the championship without including the Fiend in the story, like have him face like whoever he faces at Survivor Series, and then at TLC he just fight like a filler program for a bit, and then go on to face other people, someone else at the Royal Rumble. If they were to have Drew McIntyre retain the title, though, I mean, there's a lot of good feuds he could get into, like with Braun Strowman. Sheamus is on Raw. You have, like, even Keith Lee is on there, so there's a lot of good feuds that could come out of that if Drew were to retain. But for my prediction today, I'm saying that Randy Orton is going to retain, or Randy Orton is going to win the championship inside Hell in a Cell. Now, next up, I'm going to talk about the SmackDown Women's title match. I think everybody's probably thinking the same thing I am. I think Bayley needs to lose her title. She's held it for over a year. If you keep it on her any longer, it's going to get really annoying. And they've been building up this Sasha Banks and Bayley feud for months. It's been actually pretty good, to say the least, because they've been sort of teasing at their split between them, and then they come back together again, but they're still kind of... like Sasha was still kind of jealous of Bayley, everything else. I don't like that they had Bayley attack Sasha. It should have been Sasha attacking Bayley, but nonetheless, I think Sasha is winning here. That's the only title she hasn't held, is the SmackDown Women's title. So I think that she needs to win that so Bayley can go on to some other feud, probably lead Team or SmackDown at Survivor Series on the women's side if they do that. But I think Sasha now has some new contenders she could face, who like all the people that came from Raw and SmackDown and stuff like that. I don't want to see Bayley, and if Sasha wins, I don't want to see Bayley fight her in a rematch either. I think you just keep Bayley out of the title picture and just move on. She's been in the title picture long enough. You know, they had the women's tag team titles for a while, stuff like that. Have Bayley move on to somebody else. Have Sasha face somebody else. There's so many other women that deserve a shot, but they've been sidelined for this feud, which isn't a good thing, but it was also kind of a good thing because we got to see this actual long-term storytelling between these two. But unless if WWE were to screw up one of the Hell in a Cell match endings and have one of them end in like a no contest or something stupid, I think it should be this one. If it's gonna be a yearly thing that they do where one of the Hell in a Cell matches has a questionable ending, I think having it happen in Bayley versus Sasha would be the way to go. Maybe somebody comes out and costs Sasha, and then we have Bayley in another team with someone else that helps her retain the title the whole time. I don't know. I don't really want to see that. I want to see Bayley lose the title. So I think Sasha Banks is actually going to win here and go on to something else. Feud until WrestleMania, then whoever, she could fight someone else at WrestleMania. Maybe Becky Lynch could come to SmackDown when she returns. I don't know. She'll probably be out before WrestleMania, or till after WrestleMania with her pregnancy and stuff. I'm not really sure how long it's been now, but anyways, moving on to the last Hell in a Cell match they have advertised. Roman Reigns versus Jay Uso. This is an interesting one because it's also an I Quit match inside the Cell. This is the first time they've actually done this. I think that's very interesting. It adds a lot of stakes to the Cell match as well because we've never seen that before. Like imagine like a ladder match inside Hell in a Cell. It's different and it adds a uniqueness to the match because now you have the Cell to use as the ultimate weapon to try and keep your opponent down for the 10 count and to make them say I quit. And also there's going to be some sort of other added stipulation as well, which I guess Roman Reigns is supposed to announce. That's probably going to be something like if Jay Uso quits, or whoever quits in the match is also quitting their family. Like they're not allowed to be part of the family anymore, not allowed to be affiliated with their family, things like that. I think that's what might end up being the stipulation. Like I said, I'm recording this before watching SmackDown, so if that is the stipulation, then that also adds a new layer to the story as well, because now it's like I think it's going to be a good match either way. I think Jay Uso is going to put on a really good show. He got like completely destroyed by Roman at Clash of Champions. I think he's going to put on a better match inside the cell now. Maybe Jimmy can somehow help him. If the cell does have a door, so people, some people are breaking in, because that always happens. I don't think Jay is going to win the title though. Like Roman's obviously winning this because they're setting it up as Roman's like the tribal chief, so he's going to run through his whole family. Maybe he'll face The Rock at Survivor Series or something. Maybe he'll face Jimmy Uso on an episode of SmackDown. Then you have The Rock come in, like, because he's like Roman's cousin. However they want to do it, I kind of like this new heel Roman Reigns figure, and he has Paul Heyman with him and everything else. I don't think they're taking the title off of him just yet. He's probably going all the way to WrestleMania with the title. Maybe that's where he'll lose it. Maybe that's where he'll face The Rock. I don't know. I do know that I'm pretty sure Jay Uso is quitting. Then Roman will probably move on to Jimmy. After Survivor Series, I think he'll move on to Jimmy Uso at TLC probably, and then you have Royal Rumble, which would probably be some big time feud there. I don't know who else it would be. I forget who got drafted to SmackDown. I couldn't honestly tell you. I hope it's not King Corbin again. I know SmackDown lost a lot of people, but I don't know if who came from Raw really that would be a good contender to Roman.Maybe Seth. You could set up Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns. They always put on good matches. But either way, I think Jay Uso is not winning this match. I think Roman is going to retain here and go on to face Jimmy and then probably The Rock, and then he'll cement himself as the biggest heel in the company and as the tribal chief of his family. So there you go, guys. Those are my predictions for the 3 Hell in a Cell matches that are happening this Sunday. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section. Do you think any of the champions are walking away with their titles? Do you think they're going to retain, or are the challengers going to win? What do you want to see play out? Do you want to see people interfere? Things like that. And also be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And stay tuned for starting tomorrow, October 25th, through all of next week. We're going to be doing what we're calling Hallow Week. It's an entire week of Halloween related videos, such as reviewing Halloween movies and horror films and stuff like that. There's some trivia, things like that we got going on. So stay tuned if you're a fan of those sort of things. Check out the channel next week and take care, everybody.